hate this document, but I have to read it. Where are you? There we are. Good morning. This is Simon with TRADEnPERFORM Coaching. Important disclaimer and reminder for all traders and investors. This webinar is for educational purposes only and not a recommendation to buy or sell any particular financial instrument. Equities, futures, options, and currency trading have large potential rewards, but also large potential risks. You must be aware of the risks and be willing to accept them in order to invest in futures and options markets. Absolutely do not trade with money you can't afford to lose. The website is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy or sell equities, futures, or options. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed in this channel. Past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. Absolutely consult your registered financial advisor and your risk trading plan before ever investing or trading any financial instrument. Okay, cool. We got that down. We get rid of this. Boom. So I released a video last night. I hope you all had time to watch it. But we haven't had to deal with fast markets in a very, 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 very long time. Okay? So there's an easy way to deal with this. Okay? And the answer to that is supernova. Wait till the market goes supernova and then look for your apex traps or your delta thrusts that are getting absorbed, right? So I'm going to give you an example of that. If you look yesterday, I'll start with the 24. I'll show you the problems where there are 24 and where it works well. But if you look yesterday, you were looking for something very, very specific, okay? See how we come down, we go supernova, and we go supernova right here, okay? And what you were looking for after we go supernova is the next 3 delta thrust traps or delta thrust up, okay? And so there's small variations on each of those, but here's where we go supernova, right here, right? Okay, we're supernova. Now I'm looking for an arrow down. So see, this one doesn't qualify. I'm gonna make it big. It doesn't qualify because it's on an up bar, right? You need it on a down bar. So you're gonna come down, and there's 2 ways to do it, the aggressive way and the conservative way. So the aggressive way, which is my way, is you're gonna take it right here, and you need it to pretty much lift instantaneously. So if you're mega aggressive, you took that and that's a stop. If you waited for the second bar, your next setup comes right over here. It's still valid because it can trap back into the original supernova. This bar right here is your delta thrust down, absorbed. Super aggressive traders take it here, less aggressive traders take it here. That right there, that little tiny move, right, that's $200 to $300 a contract, that little tiny move, right, to the top of the channel. And if you're looking for a reversal, if you knew it was trend day down, hey, my hat's off to you. I didn't at that point. I would have been all right with that trade if someone had taken both of those, right? As you go through the day, you'll now notice, so here's the only problem with this methodology, right? You can go inverse supernova too. So had you chosen to say, hey, you know what? I think it's short. I'm waiting for it to go inverse supernova. I'm going to lay out the other way, right? And oftentimes you'll see it'll be in supernova in both directions. Let's say you thought it was short, right? You're looking for one of 2 things, okay? If you think it's short, you go inverse supernova over here. You lift. You don't get my favorite trade, which is the delta thrust up that's stuffed, but you do get the arrow down, right, the red arrow down specifically, and the no supply, no demand on the second bar. That's a 1 bar stop, so it's roughly 10, let's call it 12 points on a 24 tick, and you get the push to the downside. Still hasn't gone supernova, so you can take that. Still hasn't gone supernova, so you can take that, right? All of that developed after it went inverse supernova to the downside. Okay, so you still have to pick a side, right? I prefer the long side, but that's just me, right? Yesterday the downside worked beautifully, okay? And you can see until it goes supernova all the way through here. So here, it's supernova now, right? I'd be going, hey, I would like to be long. And my favorite long would involve these bars. So this is valid for me. This is valid for me. Now, I'm going to hold on for a second. This is all taken at 10:50 to 11 o'clock, and so I probably will not take these. Why? All my stops go up on that 24 tick, and that last 10-minute period, the stops go up. I want it to occur. This one occurs, you'll notice, after 11 o'clock, right? Pretty much sets up at 11:02, 11:03. Thrust down, right? If I'm still looking, why is this still valid? Actually, I probably would have said that one was too late. There's no way for it to trap even on 2 bars. So I wouldn't have taken that. Not in this scenario. Too many stops that would have occurred beforehand. But now it is supernova over here. And again, I'm looking for the same thing. If I'm looking long, I'm looking for the arrow down, right? The weaker trade is the second bar up. That's no supply, no demand. An arrow up. Also, the blue dots, the purple dot star is still valid, right? In that scenario, it's clearly supernova, and it's also an apex trap, right? There is no short here until you get over here. Now you can go, okay, I'm looking for the shorts, and now you can clearly see there where if you've taken your shorts, that lifted 3 bars, pink bar up, get stuffed. This is the aggressive trade. Both of these actually get stopped right out of the gate. So I'm going to put some reference in there. This is, again, this last 10 minutes of New York lunch, and I don't trade New York lunch in general anyways. I did not yesterday, right? And now I'm going to show you how to cut it down to the 15 tick, and then we're going to go to the trading day, okay? So when you look at this, right, when you look at this and you go, okay, well, here we are. I'm looking for long again. You'll notice most of the time on this 24 tick, this is where I'm looking long, and because it was trend day down, you're just not getting the apex traps, and you're not getting, interestingly enough, the delta shoves. Where you're getting them is up over here. You needed it here, you didn't get it, probably luckily. You needed it. Okay, aggressive trader got stopped there. Less aggressive. You got to realize we were way down in the hole here, and almost no one was looking for the short. It's an exhaustive move to the downside. So where this all worked better, in my opinion, okay. And by the way, this is important. The purple bar outside the channel was still very valuable in indicating a potential reversal, right? And these are hard when the markets change because you have to adapt your brain to it. So now I'm going to show you the same setups in a different picture, okay? See how it goes. See, that's that same area where we were looking for the trade down here on the 15 tick, but it goes supernova here, right? And once it goes supernova, there's your red bar down. It's not with a no supply, no demand, so it's not great, but you get it on the up bar, and that gives you the lift, right? And if I'm looking for the long, again, you'll see right here, you just kind of have to, the reason we use 2 charts is so that you can adjust to, hey, what's working, right? There's the arrow down. You can use the 50 cent, same way, right? But the point is, I'm looking for it to go supernova before I take the reversal. Why? Because it stops killing me, right, on the straight flies down. Now, if the market slows down, you can go back to doing it the way we've been doing it all month long, which has been working just fine. The delta bar stuffed at the edge will work when the market's neutral. But when the market's not neutral, like here, if I start looking for a short, I can take this, right? But I prefer the arrow up over here, right? It's now long again, right? It's now long again, and you'll see when it gets, in this case, it's not arrow down, it's arrow up that gives the lift. It rolls down, this stops you, this stops you. Now, you can go, hold on, Simon, you're kind of double talking that, right? You got to remember, the range is wide, right? So if I'm looking on the 15 tick in this area, what I'm doing is this. This is where I want, or shortly thereafter, down in this area is where I want that trade to set up. That's basically right here, right? This is where I want this area, this trade to set up. Okay, you'll notice it didn't get to the 4th channel in this case. And when I look at this, right, and I look at all my charts, right, what would have I had in that area? So first of all, it actually didn't hit the 4th channel at all, right? Secondly, when I look at this area, the purple bars could have triggered me in, could have triggered me in off the 24 tick. The arrow down on the purple bar is always a good shot, but you had to believe it was going up, which was kind of hard to do yesterday, right? And then the last piece is, I'm looking for one of these charts on a smaller time frame so I can get a smaller stop to set up. In this case, when I look through here, right, I got the purple bar, and the what triggered after I got the purple bar? Arrow up on a no supply, no demand. Arrow up on a no supply, no demand. I know it's not clear cut. I get it. But until I see the patterns completely clearly, right? Until I see the patterns completely clearly, I have to go through all the variables that we can trade. For example, this morning, before I left, you can see that we busted out to the upside, and I go, oh, it's long. Like I can tell we're in supernova here, right? This is afterwards. So when we get over here, right? When we get over here, I'm going, hey, what is the long setup, right? I'm looking at this, I'm going, we're coming back to the 200 period moving average, right? We're clearly impulse moved up. You can see the big impulse wave, right? And I go, oh, look, I would have wanted it here. I don't get it. I get it here. And I get it right here. Now, here I had the arrow down on a no supply, no demand. That was a 12 tick, 25 cent footprint. This is a 15 tick, non-footprint, just Renko bar, arrow down, pink bar up, and I get the lift, right? So I took that trade this morning. Why did I take that trade? Because it was appropriate relative to what the market was doing. We're in the hole. I know that we usually don't have two big down days back to back, and I can use this 200 period kind of as a larger bull bear line within this concept, right? So what I'll be doing this morning, what I'll be doing is pointing out the trades as I take them, right? I will skip the first half hour. Why? Because this is a prudent and smart thing to do. Hold on one second. I'm trying to see. Please refresh. We have U of M Michigan sentiment numbers. Oh, that's 13th. Oh, that's today, July 12th. That's right. We do. U of M at 9 o'clock. So that'll be the next piece, right? And so I'll be going through and pointing these out. Like, for example, this is valid for me. It's late because it's the second bar, right? I didn't get it over here. I didn't get it over here. And when I look at this chart, I came down to the bottom of the channel, so I would expect a reversal from that if buyers are truly in control, right? That was the signal I was looking for. I know y'all don't have the green dot on there. I will have to work on it, right? Anyways, I'm open to questions. That's what I'm looking for when I'm looking for my trade, is I'm trying to focus in, and really I'm trying to focus in on either the 15 tick. The 12 tick is probably too fast right now, right? So we could minimize this because it's probably just going too fast. Make this one bigger, the 15 tick, right? And then what am I looking for? So I'm in inverse supernova over here. If I was looking for the short, I've gone inverse supernova. What am I looking for? I would have liked the arrow up over here for the short. I didn't get it, right? You have to have a decision as to which way the market's going to go, right? So in that vein, let's fix our chart real quick. So first of all, this chart's not going to do us a lot of good because it's a ridiculous amount of space that was poorly auctioned over here, right? So let's just delete, 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 delete. It's all gone, all gone, all gone, 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 gone. Okay, so what this comes out to is prior day's low. By the way, I'm not bearish overall. That was a nasty down day, but to be expected. Copy and move. I'm just going to use the 50-60 retrace as targets. I'll adjust the value area high, value area low, but this is there goes away. Value area low, is that the low? Flodex high, just tested, Flodex low. Still open. Unfair pricing. Overnight. Unfair pricing during the day. Single prints. That's really what's most interesting in there. And we'll just reference it from there. Right? Obviously there's a lot of spaces that need to be filled in, like this, this, this. This is the logical first target. And then if you pull down the mid of yesterday's range, I'll make this box blue. There's the 382. And that's probably the upside target for today. We'll make it blue. And that's probably where we would upside target those markets today. And then below, I'm not going to overly worry about below right now. I have those areas marked off, but we'll figure that out later. We'll just do it like this. So my main goal is to look for a rhythm this morning. That's my primary objective, is to look for a rhythm within the market, right? So I'm going to key off a lot on the 15 tick, particularly for the supernovas and the inverse supernovas, depending on which way I feel like I need to push that trade. Okay, and yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I don't see it break down yet. You can see we're holding the 200 period moving averages. So we would break that. Also, we have IB low and IB high up on the chart, and I'll just go from there. This is a valid trade once you've gone inverse supernova, the arrow down on the purple bar. That is valid. I prefer the arrow jammed, but the arrow up is valid. Okay? And I plan to make some money today and then get out of here. Right? I would not be surprised to see it up at all. Like that right there. I like when that gets stuffed. That's just me, but I like it. ES grinding up, just FYI. So what saves me here is I know in order to be bearish, I've got to get an inverse supernova, right? Nothing. All the way through here. This is all same long to me. I don't want to short until I get an inverse supernova. I'm not shorting the first half hour anyways. The goal is, look, first of all, know exactly what you're going to take before the market opens, right? What are you taking today? Number one, apex traps, supernova, etc., etc. What are you taking today? Number two thing that is very, very important. Okay, number two thing that is very, very important, and that is, right, get your stretches on your trades. If you'll wait till they go inverse supernova or supernova, then you'll have an easier time getting your money out of the market, right? You'll have an easier time getting your money out of the market. We've broken the IB high, right? So this keeps me from shorting just for the sake of shorting, right? Bar down, pink bar up, stuffed on the 15 tick. It is an inverse supernova, so if you're looking for the short. So now I'd be going, oh, I'm looking for a short. What am I looking for? Arrow up that gets stuffed, right? The other thing I can use is arrow down on a purple no supply, no demand over here, right? The other thing I'm looking at is we're still holding the upward channel, right? So realize I'm not doing any of this until I get this stuffed, right? That's what I was looking for. So if this doesn't qualify, I do nothing. I'm just giving examples because I'm not trading it right now, so I don't have to uber focus on the whole thing, right? I don't have to focus inch by inch and step by step. right back to the high. New high. So now it's no longer in inverted supernova, right? Just isn't. So what that's designed to do when it's not an inverted supernova, what that's designed to do is to keep you from getting, if you're uber aggressive, you don't want to take this. You at least wanted to wait for the second bar down, right? If you're always more conservative, you're always waiting for the second bar, or less aggressive, I guess that would be the correct term, right? So that's my 2 cents about that. Also, pink bar outside the fourth channel is helpful as well. Don't forget to have your journals open, guys, and actively journaling what you're looking for. Make sure you have a clear picture of what you're looking for. I have 2 journals, one for longhand, one for shorthand, right? The shorthand's just to make sure I'm staying up on the trades, per se. So this doesn't qualify for me, right? The top bar didn't have an arrow up, the down bar didn't have a no supply, no demand. It's just a regular trade. There's nothing wrong with it. But I want, even if I wanted to short on the edge, I want this. Right, I want that stuffed, right? I'd like to see him move down. This is all emotional regulation tools, not necessarily is it short up here or not short up here. I don't know that answer, right? The answer I do know is that I can regulate my emotion by waiting for the supernova when the ranges go super wide, so I don't get tapped in. It can't keep going higher, it can't keep going lower. That puts me on pause, right? Even here, if I was going, hey, I'm looking for the short, right? Okay, well, that's great, right? You go, well, you missed this, right? Yeah, but I also missed this stop and this stop as well. So this wouldn't have mattered. You've just been recovering these two over here anyways, right? So then what I needed was up. Really don't break the high and give me my setup for the move down. Didn't get it. That's good, right? That is good. I know I didn't get it, and I'm good with not getting it, right? I didn't want to get crushed, right? And that's what this does, is just lets me kind of cherry pick the best trades to put up my P&L. And if you don't think a 2430 to 2530 can't destroy your trading account, you haven't been around a lot of traders. So again, this keeps me from taking, I know we're ripping because we're in front of the news, right? So I can keep up with where I need to break very easily, right? I got to get below there before I start looking. Even if I'm going to apply that to the 24 tick, I know that I've gotten underneath an apex on the 15 before I'm looking over here. It keeps me from getting drilled. If this sounds like it's back to old school stuff, you're right? Because we have wide ranges again, which is great. You just got to be defensive because the range is wide and a 100-point rip can come very, very easily, right? If you're looking for a long, you're looking for it to pull down, get an apex that's upward facing like this, but kind of down low, and then get the setup on the next pullback for the lift. You won't get all of them, but the ones you do get will pay you. And I would guess that we're going to get about a 100-point bump off of this number to the upside. If I had to guess, I could be totally wrong. But we were down a lot yesterday. There's a long, long way to go to even getting back to the 382. 382 is at 25.73. 50 is at 26.36. 62 is at 26.99. We can come all the way up here, right? And pretty easily. We're above 24.59, which is Globex high, and there's a lot of fair value that we can trade through, right? So that's my 2 cents about all that. And usually everyone comes in bearish the day after and like, oh, it's going to zero, and they trash the bears. One timing to the upside on a 5-minute, open drive higher. That is as open drive higher as it gets, folks. So now my space I need to break, at least for now. This lets you relax, right? Hey, there's no way for me to do anything. So I get below there. Even once you have this signaling that it's extended too far, right, which is fine, it tells you we're likely to revert back. If you still wait for the inverted supernova and start looking for your shorts, you'll get a lot more traction. As a matter of fact, I would say if it can't go inverted supernova, the risk is you get inverted supernova and it just falls apart. Okay, that happens about 25-30% of the time. But the rest of the time, you don't get smoke looking for the short on the way up, and you get the momentum in the direction up. If you think you should have been long this morning, right? If you go, I should have been long, Simon. Okay, well, there's multiple ways to do that, right? Against the 200 period, this is on the 50 cent, arrow down, no supply, no demand, arrow up. That was one way to get long. Here was another way to get long, right? This wasn't because there was no pullback involved, right? I won at least 2 bars. Here's another way. $8.35, arrow down, stuffed, at the 4th channel, reversal back up, 2nd bar, one way to get long. Never went inverted supernova on the 50 cent. Arrow up on the pink bar, by the way, would have been valid as well. And then over here, purple bar, arrow down, bar up against the 200 period moving average for the continuation, and you got that opportunity 1, 2, 3 times, right? So the only problem with this was it was an inverse supernova, so it just ripped through there. Now we're in supernova the other way. Arrow down, pink bar up for the continuation. That's a hard trade for me to take, but it did give you location of where you could have taken that trade, right? So even though this is flashing, now I need the next piece, and now my next piece comes over here. It just keeps moving up, right? Which is cool. If you don't find that valuable and you have a hard time with day trading and looking for shorts, there's something wrong with your thesis or your strategy, because this is huge. When you put the two pieces together, the high odds entry location plus being an inverted supernova, that just means you're obsessed with catching the very edge of the trade, and that part isn't important to me. There's the econ, no fast results. Very, very interesting. No setup for me. for a short anywhere here, other than very extended. Pink arrow stuffed, pink arrow up right there. It's too fast, I couldn't get to it. By the time I looked at my mouse, it was already done. And that's on a 15 tick, so it was a pretty quick sprint there. Again, from this stuff right here, we haven't broken the apex. That's 47 to 54, right? There's 57, that's almost $200 a contract. Not yet, now it is, right? From 47 to 57, almost $200 a contract, right? And the potential to retouch. You still have to make a decision if you want to keep going long after we've extended so far. Here's the profile. That's just an open drive higher. Here's the half back, roughly down here at 2,500, right? And that's fine. I have no problem with it. You just got to know where you want to take it, right? I need this to break if I'm looking for the short, then a retrace to give me entry to the downside. Until I until I go into an inverse supernova, I'm just going to wait. Not much sell pressure yet, that's for sure. Purple bar stuffed on the 15 tick. Purple bar stuffed on the 15 tick. This one didn't have an arrow, it was just a purple bar. This one was clearly superior. And no arrow up on there. So if I'm going to label this, that's an A+. This is a B. ES still very strong, not surprisingly. And we are up into an area of single prints from yesterday. We're filling in this hole right over here. It'd be a good area to look for a rejection. If you thought it was going to reject, in combination with the potential of the 382 retrace. Which, by the way, that 382 is sitting right at 2573, which is what we just fell shy of. Again, what am I looking for if I wanted to short? To get underneath these apexes right over here. To get underneath this apex over here. Otherwise, buyers are boringly in control. New high of the day, open drive higher. Not surprising. New high of the day. It's the same trade, just the opposite way from yesterday, which is not a shock. Again, when you get a day like yesterday, there's nothing auctioned up here that says, hey, we need to fight this. Right? And again, that inverse supernova keeps you from getting crunched. Now it's up here. And we kind of ran out of steam. No dominant wave down yet anywhere. Not as robust to the upside, is it now? Kind of slow down a little bit. That is not an inverse supernova. You need an orthodox close underneath on that 15 tick. So, buyer's still in control as far as I'm concerned. If that bar prints, then you'll be inverse supernova. That 54 quarter. Then you need to retrace back up. But they're trying to hold it. There you go. Now you're in an inverse supernova. You need the rally back up to get position. And taking stops is part of that. I will target back that 2480 area. It's not just the backside test. You want the arrow up or the bar down on the purple bar like this, or you want the arrow up like this for the entry. You're looking for this, or you're looking for this arrow down on the purple bar. That's what you're looking for, but after 2 bars up. See this purple bar down? But you want it to get up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars, something like that. So now I'm not looking for the long, right? I've switched sides. I'd be going, okay, I can start looking for the short on setup. I may not get the setup, but I'm looking for it. I can even get it over here if need be. There's the pink arrow down, 2 bars up, arrow down on the pink bar, extension. It's a scalping tool that you want to roll into a swing, right? So we started off with open drive higher. It's harder to fade those. But see now how you freed up and you got the extension easier to the downside? That's what we're looking for. So now I want to rally back up. Arrow up, stuffed. I will attempt the short if I get that. If I get that. And there's no promise that it'll work. It's just I now have about a 60 to 75% chance that it will. But all of that kept me from getting squished to the short side, right? Now I know, now I can come in over here, start looking for the short if it sets up. And what would I really like? For it to push up here and give me the short up here, but it didn't want to do that. And you'll notice when buyers are in control, they try to hold this. When they're not in control, they just blast straight through that stuff. By the way, you still have to pick a side, right? If you want a long side, you're just waiting for it to go supernova again, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just going through, I think it'll retrace, right? Why? I have this lit up over here. It usually tells me that we're going to try to roll back to the downside to some degree. So I'm using this in combination with this to go, okay, now I want to rally up, arrow up on the pink bar, stuffed, and then go back to the downside. That's what I'm looking for, right? It fits with my narrative of what I want for the market, right? Because I'm using my swing indicator, here it's turned on, to look for the short. Now 2 things may happen. That may turn on and we may grind all the way down without ever giving me the short signal I want. That's okay, okay? Because when I get them and I line all the pieces up together, I will get paid. I know that, right? So I'm just waiting patiently and being an opportunist. Trying to hold that double bottom. And odds are they will be able to hold that double bottom. Still gives me no setup. Broken. Potential apex trap back in. I'm going to change these up a little bit. A little bit more room to work with. Wave 1, wave 2. You're on wave 3 already on the 15 tick. I really wanted just a nice rotation up, then a wide arrow up over here. I just didn't get it. That's okay. Here's the structure to the left. They can't apex trap. Well, I guess they can on the 24. arrow down stuffed on the 15 against 22. Arrow down, stuff, what would have been better? Arrow down, purple bar, stuffed for the raise back up. Attempting to trap on this. What I would look for is if we can get the second bar in, the backside test at 40 for a push back to the upside. If you're bullish, if you're bearish, right, like I am, I'm looking for arrow up, stuffed somewhere in here, back in. So again, these scenarios can be confusing if you're trying to trade only one way. I mean, if you're trying to trade both ways and trade all of it. I'm looking for pushback back up, right, to set me up with a short, right? It doesn't mean that there's not good trades to the long side, but see how this is working now? Arrow down yesterday. If you traded the same trade yesterday, well, I'll show y'all later, but you would have gotten stopped on this a lot yesterday. This is only a safety valve. If you determine the market's benign, then you can use these stuffs right at the bottom and just turn them both ways. But the market has to be benign. We haven't had to deal with a violent market in a long freaking time. I would imagine, with everyone looking, it's really not weak at all. I would imagine a backside test into this 40-38 area would garner an upward response initially. Okay? It's not a trade, it's just a read, right? So this bar here, if this got stuffed, like I'd be at 25, 20, whatever number that is, 50-50, right? So I have a sell stop already sitting at 50-50 because if that bar gets stuffed, right, I'd want to be short. What am I going to do? I'm going to put a 50-50 and I'm going to put probably a 10-point stop on that, 60-50, right? I don't want to risk maybe a 61, but right in that number, right? Because I want it to push down and give me a trade. I am not in supernova yet, right? I am not in supernova. My observation is usually this first bar gets stuffed. It has to look like this for me, okay? I'm not trying to guess whether that bar will stuff either. I'm not short 56 against 62. That's too frustrating because that trade can get stopped over and over again. What am I targeting? If I got short here, 38 is where I think it would be going roughly, okay? If shorting's not for you and you want to trade long only, wait till it goes supernova, pulls back, maybe at the 38 you get the long set up, right? But you got to coordinate it so you're not taking every trade that appears on the chart, right? Okay, so I'm short, stop 61. I'm short 50 and a quarter. So if I want to scalp that, I can. Don't have to, right? But if I want to, I can. And that looks like they're going to come and get me at 61. Get me. So if you need to cover it now, that should have gone straight down, frankly, right? So if you need to cover it, you can now. I'm still in the trade. I did not stop it out, 10 points. And I'm targeting this 38 as my target over here. taking a very long time, just FYI. That should have flushed like pretty much almost immediately. Okay. So I'm giving y'all hints, right? I would expect that to be fast to the downside, right? The trade's not busted, but if you're going, hey, it's taking too long, this is a small chart, right? It's been over a minute. That thing should have flown down to retest. Now, it could be one of two things. Buyers are hung up and they're trying to push. Trade's valid, or I'm going to get stopped at 61. One of the two. But you can't go, my average time is under a minute. It's sitting right where I'm at. I don't want to take the stop. I'm out. It should have gone, right? Enough of them go and give you the scale quick enough. I'm not telling you, so I don't want to confuse the coaching here, right? It should not have hung up like this up here. It should have gone, yeah, we want to release and get out, right? Instead, it's sitting there and going, I've got two good signals to short there, and neither one of them is releasing, right? So if I get stopped, right, I'm not in absolute shock that I got stopped, right? Because I'm looking at observing, like I would not want to add to this trade here. It's taking too long, right? I wouldn't go, oh, there's only 3 points late. It's taking too long. I want it to whip back and go. So I stay with the trade because I don't do a good job of discerning when to come in and when to come out, right? So I'm staying with the trade, but I think it should have gone by now so that you can make a decision to go, I'd rather take a 2 point or 3 point stop or flat the trade or 2 or 3 point gain instead of sit here through this consolidation, right? And that's why I'm saying it. So if you're not totally committed to this trade, or you don't think it's short, that's where you go, like now we're working on 2.5 minutes. It's an insane amount of time on this scale to get that 10 points, right? It's obviously not free, right? We want a market that's free. That's how we make our money, right? So anyways, that's my 2 cents. I'm prepared to get stopped on this now. Stop. Just didn't want to go down. It was the right setup. Now we're in supernova the other direction. I have to give it another reset, right? That's all right. Did that help, that explanation? I was looking for, well, wherever the market tells me, Brian, like this is what I was keen off of right here. Was this for the short? It just didn't give any extension down, right? So now I have to wait again. Now I have to wait again until it gets underneath. I need to go inverse supernova again. But it should go fast. Like it shouldn't be taking all day long to set up on the short, right? It just should not. Now I have to get underneath. So now I have to trade underneath, back up, and get this signal to short, right? So now I'm just waiting patiently. There's nothing to do. It's actually back to bull mode, right? Which is not shocking given that we went straight down in a bull market yesterday and they have plenty of area to re-auction. Yeah, too much sideways in that trade. But what that does is I don't go, oh, let me short this, 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 and this. I'm not on tilt. I recognize, hey, if we get above here, we're back in bull mode, and I got to wait. Good call. Market's only up 153 points relative to how far it went down yesterday. Not a lot. Not a lotta. The next level is really up here at 26,551. Trend day up so far, guys. Especially in ES. No seller. No seller. Everyone wants in. Everyone got short is what happened. $636 to $655 is where I have the next level. 650. Pink bar stuff by itself is not sufficient for me. Not. And that's why this is important when you're getting this short signal fire up, that you get it off of inverted supernova on the 15 first, right? That avoids this pain. Like we clearly identified, hey, this isn't going quick enough. And everyone else was, and the reason why you know it was everyone else was looking for it to go down is because everyone covered immediately. That's what this is, right? Everyone said, oh shit, we're not going lower. Bam, short covering, right? They had to come in on the market, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Still no sellers that I can see. Not a fun market to trade. Come on. Straight down, straight up. Bullshit. Let's go. Straight up. Not much you can do about it. And that's great news, actually. News may have also hit too. I don't know if that's accurate. But either way, it's got to go inverse supernova for me to touch the short. So mission accomplished. Do I think it's ridiculous? Yeah. But that's how the market works right now. Is it's all in or all out with no logic whatsoever. So this is my area I have to get below. And since I know I have a while till anything happens, I'm just going to do nothing. It's no fun. Went straight down, then it went straight up. We need something in between to trade. Something in between to trade. And again, the up 200 doesn't shock me at all. I thought we should go up. I thought we should have gone up yesterday, right? Again, there's nothing for me to do here, long or short. But the emotional control when this happens is really, really critical. Guys, when this goes vertical like this, you got to keep emotional control. I have a hard time with it, right? So I'm working on it. I've written 100 times. Don't get frustrated. Don't get frustrated. Don't get frustrated. You got to have emotional control on these things or they'll whip you, right? And don't let them whip you would be the key there, right? Don't let them whip you would be the key. It's the right area. Technically 5150 is, right? There has to be some stops sitting behind that 5150, 51 area in general. Where I'm getting that 5150 from, by the way, here, I'm going to reproduce this chart with no drawings on it. Chart, duplicate chart. Because I'm doing this. Okay, very simple. What I'm looking to do is get close to or at a 30-minute level. So see how this is a 30-minute level? I got close to it. If not, I'm going to look for shorts behind here, 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 here. That's how I'm coming up with those levels, right? So, or approximately those levels. So if I take this chart now, this is chart number 18. Okay, the big long levels was what came off the other chart, right? So over here, see how they're becoming inflection points? So here's the open. Here's the open. Right there. I get over level, come down. I'm targeting this down here, don't hit it, right? Get over my next level, exhaust, arrow down, comes down. I don't get to my next level. Target the next arrow. This jams me, right? I don't get the arrow up. If I take the arrow down there, it's obviously in trend up. Next target, this area. See how it stutter steps almost every time we get above or below those old 30-minute levels. If we started going down, I would reverse it and now go, I'm looking for 2541 because that gets me to the bottom of this 30-minute level, right? So that's what I'm looking for, and then I know once I get over this level, right, if this doesn't give me a short response, my next level is this 2650, approximately 2650, right? And that's how I can do that. I should change the color so that we know. And now I know I have my apex over here, gets to this level, gets underneath here, and now I have a way of starting to produce the results that I'm looking for, right? Now I have a way of starting to produce the results I'm looking for. And if I want to be uber aggressive, I can try to short it up here. That's a tougher job, right? But I can do that, right? So you got a purple, you got a pink arrow up, purple arrow down, not in inverse supernova, but you're trading against that 20/60/50, and you got to decide whether you want to take it or you just observe it, right? That's how you do it. And again, you'll see when those work properly, they just fall away. There is none of this, maybe it'll go down, maybe it won't. It just, bam, that purple bar down, and it's gone, right? That's how it works. There's 51. And there's the exhaustion over that time frame. Does that make sense? How I explained that? Guys, did it make sense? There you go. So you combine those two pieces together and you look for a roll down off of that. Now, we need to get below inverse supernova. And we can start looking for some opportunity. New high. Just total suctitude, if you ask me. Total. Just everyone got short yesterday, it looks like. Comes a new high. I thought we did pretty good considering, you know, you would have thought there'd be two-way markets and looking to short from yesterday, and instead we go trend day up and mirror image the move back up. Keeps you out of a lot of problems. Because in my eyes, this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. But I'm grateful that I didn't get whooshed. I mean, look at that move. Look at that. This is as close as we got. If anything, if you're trying to short on the 25, that was your worst case scenario. On the 15, this was probably your, I mean, that was our worst case scenario and it wasn't bad. And then the other thing is looking at the edge. Again, I really like, in most circumstances, the arrow up. I'm willing to take that stuffed in most circumstances. You know, it doesn't always work, or you have to move so super hyper quick to get it to work. Sometimes that it's difficult. Sean, I didn't understand. Did you meant to DM me? Oh, from the top to bottom. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Right, from top to bottom. Agreed. It's the right area. You're taking out the stops, but the market's just so freaking strong. How do you tolerate the risk factor? But I agree, that's the right area. Just hard when no one wants to negotiate the market. We're either all selling or all buying. That's really rough. And that's where I make my money, is when we're negotiating. This is a non-negotiated market. I don't see if there's a reason to, really. My guess is this afternoon we'll have some market to negotiate with. If I can learn to use these 30 minutes as targets, it'll be great. Like the target down now has to be almost 100 points below here. But I don't see any rolling up and down market to take that with confidence. Yep, I'd agree. So I'm not burning up my my tool bag over here. o'clock. And London wants to sell them, at least initially. Inverted supernova. And when those guys get going, they just get going. So not much fun. Purple bar stuffed in a trend up, that will usually lift. It's a 1 bar stop, 10 points, 15 tick, 12 points if you want to be exactly on the money. Even though we're inverted supernova, usually that'll get some kind of traction. Stop's really 25. Now you're looking, if you want a short, you're looking for arrow up stuffed. Like you'd want that bar stuffed. Right? That's what you're looking for. And then you want it to go right away. Like you can wait until you see the pace pick up to the downside. They'll open it up. If they can't, if they're gonna open it up, they'll open up and you'll see it. Right? You don't have to keep guessing as to when they're gonna open it up. I keep asking the same question. What is it? What's the model that looks like my business model as opposed to just trading everything? I can't quite figure it out, but I'll get it. But I know it involves not straight up, straight down. So like this 37 or whatever that number is, so that's a valid short right there, right? So it's a short with a 12 points. 12 points of stop, right? So see how it's falling down there? That I can tell you because I just took it, right? From where I got filled, well, I'm flat now, but it was worth up to $100 and some odd dollars. It's worth $25 right now because I'm looking at the dome. And my stop is going to go at, that was 36, so let's put it at 46. Right? And now I'd have to see, hey, do I get follow through? What I don't want is that bar stuffed, right? So what I don't have is the movement. So now I can decide, like right now I have $100 on that trade. Do I want to take $100? Do I want to push it and see if I can get the roll to the downside? What do my other charts tell me, right? So I can tell you the problem here is I don't have the 25 tick, this aligned with what I'm looking for, right? That's the problem with this trade, okay? And I really want to get this signal lined up with this signal so they're both going in the same direction. It's not that this can't work, right? I just know I need the bigger time frame going the right way as well, right? So there, I'll scale out 28, right? And I'll move my stop to break even. I just want it to roll, right? I just want it to roll without paying any cost on the trade, okay? This is harder, so this is one of the things I've been thinking about. You want, when this gives you the signal here, like this, there, that's where this signal aligns, right? But I want this to be on a, I want these signals to align with a place where I look on this chart and go, yeah, we're going lower, right? That says nothing about going lower. As a matter of fact, it just formed the apex. So stop on the break even, obviously, right? It just formed an apex that I need to break. Like now I know I need to go lower. But see how this is, what I'm trying to communicate to Randy, Sean, all of y'all, is that creates an emotional, right? An emotional resistance to just getting run over constantly, right? It stops me from going, oh, it's got to be short here, let me short it, right? When nothing else is in alignment with that concept, right? When nothing else is in alignment with that concept, it lets me go, oh, let me pause. So I'm trying to take it out of being too narrowly focused and move it over to being properly focused and getting both sides of that formula lined up. Now we're up here, right? We're up into this pink, purple, as a matter of fact. One of the things I would normally do is, because I know that right there, I'd want to see where all the volume is, and all the volume from the high is right there, right? That's where all the volume is from the high, and that's where it's getting, right? Even if it's minor, that's where it's getting rejected from, okay? That's where it's getting rejected from. And I want to adjust my read, and I want to see the pieces come in place. The other thing is on the 4x4 on the 75-cent chart, do I have anything that shows me a 4x4 reading, right? Is the other thing that I'm looking for there. So I'm not just guessing where the turn may or may not come from, right? My guess is they're just going to go tag a new high because there's no sellers. And there's your new high. Pink bar up, stuffed. I will take a speculative trade on that. Short 55. Stop 66. Stop 66. That's speculative. I didn't wait for the second bar, so getting stopped wouldn't shock me. It's speculative, right? Off the top, it's just in the right area to exhaust. It just took off this. I'm looking for an apex trap up here, and I'm willing to pay small to see if I can get that trade. Apparently, I'm going to be wrong on that. Need the second bar down. I need that bar. Can't get that bar. Kind of sucks. Oh, the last piece. Wait till we get down here before we start shorting. You can scale here if you want a quick trade down at the 51. I'm going to see if I can't get him to break it, which means I'll take the stop on it if I'm wrong. So far, no love. It's forming a tweezer top. And no love to the downside, guys. None. Looks like that 66 will stop. Yep. Not there yet. There it goes. $66.25 is the freaking high. That sucks. Please don't let that be the high for the day. That's really humiliating if it is. And it is. Okie dokes. I think I'll just take a break. There's no rotation. I've given all my energy to getting it right, and I have not gotten it wrong, but I haven't gotten it right either. I'm down slightly, $230. But clearly this is not fun or rotating. So I'll check again this afternoon. Maybe I can make some money there, but I can't do it when it goes straight up. There's nothing here. New high coming up. So, and I get annoyed when I sit there and watch them bang, bang, bang by a tick, a new high, new tick, a new high. It's emotionally distressing to me when it does it. So I think I've stretched myself as far as I can with staying cool because I can feel myself struggling. So I'm just going to let them keep buying it and driving it all the way back up. We may have a mirror image move today, and that really sucks. You know, yesterday dump, 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 today buy, buy, buy. It's the exact same buy program. If you look at the nature of the way it's working, it's the exact same program. It's just was faster on the downside. But other than that, the constant bid and the constant offer yesterday are identical programs. And the fact that we can't get on a 15 tick, like that you can't get a 10-point rotation out of, this is a really good setup. Remember when I talked about yesterday where if your really good setups aren't working, you should stop trading? That's a really good setup at the high. Like that should have generated 15, 20, 30 points of rotation down in a normal market. So when you're getting that market and they're not giving you an inch to breathe, right? They're not giving you an inch to breathe on your trading. So it's important that y'all hear this, right? Randy, see how they're not giving you an inch to breathe? They're not giving you anything, and that's a good setup, right? Go away. Right? Sean, go away. Sean hasn't run a trade today, right? When they're not giving you any room to breathe on your trades, when they are not desiring to negotiate the price of this market at all, right? We can't make money in that, right? You're going to have to guess a top or guess a bottom, right? And that just is a very hard thing to do, right? It's a very hard thing to do. So we'll wait. I'll see what it looks like at 12:30. It is disappointing to say the least. I really expected after yesterday we get some negotiation, not trend day up. but they've opted for the mirror move. We're one timing to the upside on a 30-minute time frame, and we have to trade all the way down here to get rid of that, right? The next area of hypothetical, and I do mean hypothetical interest, is up here behind that 62 retrace, which is 2730. And a complete mirror image moves us all the way back to 2830, and they've shown no inclination to not want to do that. So do I think it sucks? Yes. It's very, very hard to make money in markets that are one timing to the upside on every time frame, and one timing down on every time frame. Swing traders love it, day traders hate it. I know I particularly hate it. So that's my 2 cents, but I won't punish myself. Guys on YouTube, thanks for joining me. I hope I kept y'all out of trouble with shorting. It was obviously a pretty attractive initial proposition, but that proposition doesn't exist. Yeah. So what you want to see is the evidence of the trade before you take the trade itself. Getting stopped out to the tick there kind of sucked, but that part I'm not even worried about. It's just a lack of rotation. The 230 down or 330 down is no big deal. It's the lack of rotation, which means I can't recover. So I'll wait to see if they do it this afternoon. In the meantime, they can do whatever they want. Still working on that emotional regulation. Thanks for joining us on YouTube, guys.